So this is going to be a 7-week of series, and we are right now on 6th week of webinar. Okay, I trust that a few people are unable to listen. Just give me a quick minute, please. Right, trust you should be able to hear my voice now. Great, so let me come again from the beginning. So this is the 6th week of the training program, and here we go. It's the complete training schedule, and we are now into the integration with Desktop Central and ServiceDesk Plus module. So let's look into this, what we have for the integration and how it benefits us. Regarding the previous trainings which has happened earlier, so if you anyone have missed about this training, you can just go and get it from the given link. And about me, I'm going to be your trainer for today, and I'm associated with Desktop Central and with ManageEngine for 10 years, implementing the endpoint management system, mobile device management, and OS provisioning. So let's quickly get into the agenda today. So what we have for today's module on the table. So we're going to discuss about the architecture, how exactly it works in the background in order to get all the details and how it benefits us. And we are going to quickly do the integration of both the products. Later on, we are going to discuss about few use cases which happen on the real-time scenario. And finally, we are going to end up with the questions. Frequently asked questions by the customers. So we are going to deal the questions over here. And similarly, for each and every module, once it's completed, you can just go ahead, raise your request or raise your queries. You may chat with our expert panel who's sitting aside, would help you to provide all the information based on your request. Well, so Desktop Central integration is supports for Windows and Mac with ServiceDesk Plus. So let's have the features. What are the benefits we have by integrating it? So these are the set of features, and these features could be benefited in our real-time scenario. So we are going to have the asset data. The complete information of a computer's hardware, software information is going to be posted to ServiceDesk Plus along with the mobile device data, followed by installing and uninstalling software options, so we can install, uninstall applications from the ServiceDesk Plus console without coming into or without jumping into Desktop Central. We can perform the scripts to execute certain scripts in terms of configurations during your installation procedures of applications, or even if you want to execute some scripts separately, we can go with the scripts from the integration part. We have an advanced remote control feature which helps you to take remote, and you have a lot of facilities. For example, you can blacken the user's screen during your access of providing any confidential information on the machine, or you can also use a screen recording feature which helps you to record all the session and allow you to go for a future playback, and followed by remote troubleshooting. So using this remote control, we may also go troubleshoot the raised issues by the users, and all these activities could be happen by raising a request from Desktop Central, and that could be done from the Desktop Central site itself, where a user can raise a request from the tray icon, which is going to get added to your ServiceDesk Plus, not only the tickets and also the alerts. So in inventory we have some alerts which could be used to log on over here. So let's see the complete architecture, how it exactly works. So you could see here about the clients, which are all reporting to Desktop Central server. And when we are integrating Desktop Central with ServiceDesk Plus, ServiceDesk Plus is going to send certain commands to Desktop Central for installing an application or executing a script or trying to take remote off the machine. So Desktop Central, it's going to facilitate that by searching for which machine it has been sent, and it gets the details back and gives the control to ServiceDesk Plus in order to achieve it from there. And similarly, from Desktop Central to ServiceDesk Plus, so we're talking about asset data posting. So Desktop Central agents are going to perform a complete scan. Once we install the agent, it's going to perform a complete scan, and that scan is going to help us to collect all the software, hardware, and warranty information, and those informations are going to be posted to Desktop Central server. In terms of integration with ServiceDesk Plus, the same information is going to be posted to ServiceDesk Plus, and that's going to hold all the information in its common database like CMD. So this is going to be the background architecture. Now, how we are going to set up this integration? This integration is going to work based upon creating an API key in order to make Desktop Central talk towards ServiceDesk Plus and vice versa from ServiceDesk Plus to Desktop Central. And we should also see about the features which could be integrated, which we have already discussed earlier. So let's get into the product to know how this is feasible now. Fine. So I'm taking you to the Desktop Central first. By going to the Desktop Central, go to the Admin tab, click on the ServiceDesk Plus settings, and here we go. So we are going to integrate ServiceDesk Plus. Please choose what product of ServiceDesk Plus you have. It is ServiceDesk Plus on-premise, on-demand, or even if you're having an Asset Explorer, yes, we can integrate. Coming down, perform all the details. Provide the information about your ServiceDesk Plus, followed by its ports, and choose the protocol in which it's getting communicated, followed by which we have these features. So we have the asset data of computers which could be integrated, and you can see here it could be selected, and you may also choose the options accordingly, whether you want to post this information, and when it is getting stored on ServiceDesk Plus side, if the device or the workstation is disposed, we can mark it as disposed. So the data which is posted there is going to get assigned according to the status what ServiceDesk Plus is maintaining. And similarly, the asset, if the asset has been removed from ServiceDesk Plus, so this will also get removed automatically. So this will not create a duplicate entry on ServiceDesk Plus. Similarly for the asset data for mobile devices. So if you're managing mobile devices in Desktop Central, so even those informations are going to be posted there. I'm talking about inventory informations, which is going to be posted there. Followed by, we have an ability to deploy the softwares from ServiceDesk Plus. And when we take remote from ServiceDesk Plus to Desktop Central, we have the troubleshooting done, and later on we can automatically add the work logs, notes, and resolutions for your remote activity which you have done on the target machine to resolve. That could be automatically added. And finally, the log help desk request and alerts. So this is going to help you to log the help desk request and alerts as a ticket. In order to enable everything, we need to create an API. So an API has to be created, and it should be pasted here. So this API is of ServiceDesk Plus API. So let's see how we are going to create an API from Desktop Central to provide it over there. So this is the API where I can regenerate an API, and I can just copy this API from here and save it. I can go back to the ServiceDesk Plus. Scroll down all the way bottom, you'll be able to see the ME integrations, which is called the ManageEngine integrations, and that offers you a list of other ManageEngine products which could be integrated to ServiceDesk Plus. And our product is going to be Desktop Central. So I'm just selecting the Desktop Central, and I will provide the API key which we have created, and I'm just going to add the connectivity. So it ensures that the key is properly authenticated, and we have verified ServiceDesk Plus is able to talk to Desktop Central. So we have provided the same information of Desktop Central details over here, and we can make use of it. Similarly, from here to authenticate the validation from Desktop Central, we are going to generate another API from ServiceDesk Plus, because when ServiceDesk Plus passes any request to Desktop Central, so Desktop Central needs to authenticate and validate it. So in order to get the details, we are creating an API key generation, and we are creating an API key generation from here. So this API key has options like never expires and expire. So when I click regenerate here, it generates the API key, and I can copy this. If it is never expires, this key will not get expired at any cost. If you're choosing with expire, then you can provide a timeline for this expiration, and on that day, this integration would get broken. So it's recommended not to use this option. You can have it as a never expires. So by which I can go down here, I can use this key over here, and I can check. So likewise, I can save to get it certified. It will provide the valid key. Well, so by which we have integrated successfully, and this integration helps you to post all these details to the ServiceDesk Plus. Let's move on to see a quick use case, how this could be solved in ServiceDesk Plus using Desktop Central integration. So I'm just going to take a quick specimen detail about troubleshooting an audio issue for a user. I'm taking you to the product of ServiceDesk Plus. I'm going to the request. So request has been raised from the user, and the request is going to be available in this place. So we are now looking for the Desktop Central. A request is raised from the Desktop Central from its agent tree icon, so by which it creates a request in ServiceDesk Plus, and I'm going to provide a quick troubleshooting in order to find out this audio issue. So once the request is created, you'll be able to see the request created and requests sent by the administrator from the machine details. And here we go. If you scroll down, you should be able to see the details about the asset. And from here, I can start my troubleshooting, and I'm going to use the remote control feature to launch and help the end user to address his audio issue. So by which I'm going to use the remote control feature. So normally we can take remote of using a VMware, VNC, or a Microsoft RDP. So we can use these options. Along with it, we also have Desktop Central remote control. So the advantage of Desktop Central remote control is a ticket which is raised from Desktop Central is going to be listed over here. We can take control of the remote using Desktop Central, and that provides you more visibility and more features compared to the others. And moreover, if you take remote of the Windows remote desktop and working on the issue, once the issue is addressed, if you want to reboot a machine, then you need to reconnect back again from the MSTSC option. But whereas from Desktop Central, we don't need to disconnect it. It would get reconnected back again once it's chosen for the reboot option. So I'm trying to take control from here, and that allows me to provide a message or the reason to go connect to that machine. So I'm just providing the reason for this, and I'm going to connect. So this allows me to take control of the target machine. So that user would prompt it with this message, and here we go. We are now on the target machine. So this provides me a visibility of going forward. I can just use a text chat to interact with the user from here. which will allow the user to see the message. You can see here. So I can chat with them. Since the user does not have an ability to listen to the audio, I cannot use the other option of voice. So I'm using this chat, so by which the user can interact with me on the chat, and I can troubleshoot the details based upon it. Similarly, in case if I want to make some files, I found out this is due to a driver issue. So I can make use of this file transfer option, which allows me to transfer the file accordingly. I can select the files which needs to be transferred, and I can make use of this option. Like, I can use this option to launch the wizard. The wizard comes up with the file transfer. So where I can transfer the file, I can fix this issue. Similarly, apart from that, we do have a lot of other quick informations which could be accessed immediately. So I don't need to go to the machine to open a command prompt. I can just quickly use this command prompt in order to access from the shortcut menu itself. And similarly, I can perform all these kind of the device manager activities. I can also perform the booting process of logging off and reboot the machine, so it reboots and reconnects back to me, so by which I can ensure that things are working in a good shape or not, and also followed by I can perform certain administrative tasks using this process. Similarly, I do have an option to take control of the machine even if the machine is completely locked by the user. I can use a Control-Alt-Delete, unlock by using my administrator account. I can take control, resolve the issue, I can come out even if the user is not available in the machine. And I can perform a blacken the monitor. So this is going to help me to preserve certain confidential information. For example, if I've installed an application to the target machine and providing the product key, I don't want the user to see the session, what's happening. So I can blacken the monitor, I can perform all the activities. Similarly, I can disable the user's keyboard and mouse when I'm working on it, and followed by I can also quickly see what's happening in the machine without moving my mouse. It's going to be a silent watch option. And followed by we have multiple monitors supported in remote control, where we can have access to multiple monitors even if the user is having multi-monitor. So by which we can address the details, and once it's done, I'm going to have the setup. I can come, I can see about options. Once it's completely done with that, I can go to the resolution point. I can update the details like it is completely done. And during this remote control, I can also add the work logs as I mentioned. So we can add the work logs, and that will going to be added automatically to this place. I can see about the request history. Similarly, the SLA details to address this case. So by which I can easily figure out what is the issue, and I can go ahead, I can address this accordingly. So this is going to help us to address any kind of issues which is raised from Desktop Central. Fine. So if you have any questions on this case, you may just go ahead and raise your request to the chat. And we are moving on to the next option of initiating a software installation when a request is raised in ServiceDesk Plus. So it's going to be more interesting, like when a request is being raised from Desktop Central for installing an application, how we are going to address this from ServiceDesk Plus itself, so without coming inside Desktop Central. So let's see how this could be possible. So I'm again taking you back to the product, and here we go with the requests. So we have a request raised from one of the user to install the Microsoft Office 2000 setting. So let's have a quick use case to make it more easy understanding. And it has been raised, you could see here. And now we are going to install the application. So the request has been raised, and we could see all the details, okay, to which machine it has been raised from. Fine. So now I'm planning to go and install it, and I'm going to the action, and I'm just trying to install this application. So you could see here the install uninstall software under the actions tab. Fine. So by which I'm going to install this application to the target machine successfully. So let's quickly turn back and see how this install uninstall software option has been available here, because we have just integrated, we have enabled the software deployment from Desktop Central. So it doesn't mean that it's going to help us to install the application directly from ServiceDesk Plus. So we have to add a service catalog. Creating a service catalog, we are going to add this option to ServiceDesk Plus. So this facilitates the ServiceDesk Plus to go further, install the application from Desktop Central. So let's see how this is possible. So I'm just taking you to the admin tab. And in admin tab, we have a service catalog. Going to the service catalog, all the services could be addressed. It's all categorized based upon the services. Similarly, you can see a lot of catalogs, which is a service oriented for any kind of login and any communication details or for data management. Similarly, my intention is to install, allow the ServiceDesk Plus to go further, install the application. So I'm going to choose the software option. And here we have already created a service. So we are going to add a service for this catalog, and we have already added a service catalog. So let me quickly show you how this service catalog will look like. So I have raised a service name as request a service software installation, followed by which I have the other options to fill in the details for the ServiceDesk Plus, like help desk management, and we also have a technician details to whom this has to be assigned, and we can perform all the activities. And now if I go to the workflow, I could show you I have already enabled the install uninstall software option. So for this technician, when he's able to use this option, he would be allowed to install the application. And we have options here. You can choose the options based upon the integration process. So AD Manager Plus is also got integrated. So based upon its oriented function, it has an option to enable and disable, which we can make use of it. Similarly, we are using it from the Desktop Central, as you could see here, application which got integrated. And I've already chosen the click to enable. So this is enabled and under the workflow. Well, so now once the request is created, so you also could see here about the request catalog. In the request catalog, you'd be having the list of catalogs and the software name, requester software installation, which we created as a service in this service catalog. Now based on this, I'm going to use install Office 2016, but I'm selecting the install uninstall software, which allows me to go choose what kind of application I want to use. I'm choosing the application name, and I can select the application of Office 2016, providing the run as administrator credentials. I can also select the operation type. Even if you want to uninstall something, yes, of course, you can uninstall from the ServiceDesk Plus. And you also have an option of copying it to the client machines, or copy the entire folder to the client machine and then install. Yes, we can process. And by the way, we can choose the domain. So I'm choosing my domain from here. And it's for the user or workstation. I can also choose for whom I want to deploy. So what action I need to perform from here, whether I need to deploy this application to my users or workstations, I can define from here. Moving forward, I can also schedule this operation at when I want to deploy this application. I'm not planning to do this today, so perhaps I can do it for during my non-office hours. Yes, I can plan it by tonight to deploy it by choosing this option. Similarly, I can also use the way I want to install. When I want to install this application during the machine's reboot process, or during the 90 minutes refresh policy from agent to server in Desktop Central. So we call it as a refresh policy. So we can use that refresh policy. Else, whichever takes place first, I can go ahead and do that. So when I'm choosing the users, it will provide all the usernames. So I can select to which user I want to install, and I can add it. So likewise, I can choose, I can save, and this would help me to install the application. You might be wondering, how come this provides or furnish all the details of the application? So taking you back to the Desktop Central, you could see here in Desktop Central we have a software deployment, and this software deployment we have option to add packages. Remember in the previous modules of software deployment you might have been provided with information how to add the package for MSI or MSI EXE. So whatever packages you're adding and defining it according to the license type, choosing and adding a package by selecting from the location. So these applications are added as a package, and these packages are going to get reflected in this place. So that is what we see here. So starting from the document framework, you can get all the information as it is. So we are fetching it from this wizard is going to fetch from the ServiceDesk Plus. So this all are done with the help of the API which we have created, generated and applied to each product. So using this option we are going to interlace, and it provides all the details from the Desktop Central. So likewise I can just go ahead, I can save the options, I can install the application from here, and once the application is installed we can see the tasks about whether the application is installed. Yes, it shows you the real-time status because it installs the application, posts the status to the Desktop Central server, and from where it is going to be reflecting to the request. And you can also see the resolution point. You can comment on the resolution, and similarly you can see the history of the task and the service level agreement. So this is the option to help you to install an application from the ServiceDesk Plus view. So if you have any other questions using this relevant to this module which we covered, please raise it to the expert panel. And we are moving on to the next use case of getting a lot of help desk requests to install business applications, how to automate and handle this situation well. So this could be happen in a real-time scenario. We have experienced more customers have come across with this situation. For example, let's say that I am from a finance department. I am raising a request to install Adobe Reader, and after a week I need another application which is relevant for my finance department. So I am looking for an MS Office suite, and later on I'm looking for another application. Similarly, the same department, more number of users are raising the similar applications, and a new guy who joins to the finance department is also raising a request to the help desk team to provide the installation of Office Suite or Adobe Reader. So similarly, so everyone in the department is going to use a common application which is relevant to the department wise. So in this condition, it's going to be a service overhead for a help desk management or an IT management. So it's going to be a frequent request raised from the department, and you have to spend much of your time utilizing for installing that application. So to avoid the situation, what would be the best factor to help yourself save your time and similarly to address the requirement of the department? So let's see how this could be addressed in the Desktop Central. So I'm just switching over to Desktop Central to show you how this could be done. We are going to choose software deployment, and we have a feature called self-service portal. A self-service portal is nothing but we are going to create a software catalog of choosing their relevant application and providing this catalog to the end users, so the users can install the application at their own convenience without bothering you. And this installation is going to happen how you have created a package. We create a package using the system account in order to install to the target machine, and we are going to use a package using the target user account for users. So likewise we can create the configurations and we can install this application to the target users or computers by creating a catalog. So let me show you how it happens. So here we go with the self-service portal settings. You may allow the user to see how this service catalog or how this is going to be shown up. Whether they want to see the software catalog using a tray icon or using a desktop shortcut or a start menu. You can choose according to your choice. So when you right-click the agent tray icon, you'll be having a self-service portal by which we can use it, or a desktop shortcut could be possible to double-click and open the self-service portal view, or using the start menu. And if it is going to be the desktop shortcut, you may also change this icon. So this could be an alien icon for the users, whereas you may change it to your own company's logo with a given prerequisite settings, and we can make use of it. Well, so once it's provided, I'm just going back to the self-service portal. I'm creating a department. So a department, we have a department in terms of a lot of machines over there. So I'm just going and choosing the department. You can see here. In order to create a department, you can make use of our custom group. You can go create a custom group by providing a group name, choose your appropriate domain, select the machines and choose the custom group, or users to choose the custom group, and that's going to get reflected over here. So now I'm planning to use this application. For example, the users are more concerned about these applications which they have requested me from the finance team. So I'm just adding all those details and coming down, I'm just going to publish it. So it got published. So now it's with the finance team. And let me show you how this is going to be reflected, or how this will be shown in terms of the view. So when a user is going to have this, you can see here. So this is how it will be reflecting. When a user double-clicks the icon, or from the start menu, or even from the self-service portal menu from the agent tray icon, they'll be able to see the list like this. So they can go ahead, they can install the application whichever shows us install, and this helps them to install it successfully to the target machine. And that will be shown over here under your view configurations. You can see the installations, the packages provided for the user. You can click on this application to see what are the application which you have associated, to which machine it has been associated. And even going forward, if you feel that, okay, we have the latest version of 7-zip and no longer the 7-zip is going to be used, yes, we can disassociate this application from here. So which completely removes from this viewer completely. So likewise, we can offer them these applications to get installed at their own convenience by saving much of our time. So this could be created for user as well as for computers, and we can go ahead and make use of it. So let's move on to the next option of approving a commercial software applications for deployment from ServiceDesk Plus. So now we are going to see the same scenario, but how this could be done from the ServiceDesk Plus. I'm taking you back again to the software deployment, to the same self-service portal. So here we go. We have offered them all the application, whatever they want to install. However, if they want to, I also want to provide them some more applications, but they are not supposed to install by themselves without the help desk consent. For example, I'm just going to edit the task here. I'm just going to edit the task, this finance team. Right. So we have provided all these applications for the finance team. Now, I also want to allow them to use some commercial applications. Commercial application in the sense of Office 2016 and Skype for Business. So this application is not allowed for them to install by themselves because it requires approval prior to the installation process. So meaning that I'm going to allow these applications to all of the department members, but again, I'm going to install based upon choosing the business requirement for the user. Only based on their request, it's going to get applied. So this application which is over here, it could be installed without their approval process. But this application, I want to check whether this user really is in need of this application. I'm going to get the confirmation from the department head. Based on that, I'm going to provide this license, this application. And moreover, these applications, we have more number of license, which is inevitable. So it could be used for all the departments. And moreover, the freeware applications could be allowed for installing it without approval. But when it comes for a licensed application, which has a limited license or which has a license to be used only for few users in the network, then for them, we need to use this request approval. Fine. So let me show you here how this happens. So I'm going to take you to the ManageEngine desktop, ServiceDesk Plus. Going to the request, we can see the request over here. So here we go. Sorry. So going to the Home tab, you can see a request which is raised is going to be shown up as approval. So this is the request which was raised, and the request raised view would be shown up here. So when the user is double-clicking on the self-service portal from the tray icon of the agent tray icon, or from the shortcut menu, or from the start menu, so any of these parameters, the user is going to get this view accordingly. And we have seen already about installing an application which allows the user to install by themselves. And you can also see some application which has requested. So it will be pending for a request. For example, if the user wants this Office Suite, he is going to provide the reason for the request. So a user could provide his request here, and he can send this request. So once this request is sent, it's going to get created as a ticket in ServiceDesk Plus, which is pending for approval. And we can go down here, select this option. We can cross-check with this department head, and we can verify whether this application is required, so by which we can just go ahead and approve and save it. Once it's saved, so this view would be changed as approved, and it will have an option of install. So whereas the user can go ahead, install this application based on it, and that will also get notified to the user. Fine. So how come it's possible to get this information in ServiceDesk Plus? And how it is getting approved from here, which is passed all the way to Desktop Central. So let's see how this is happening. So I'm just taking you back again to the admin tab, to the same service catalog. In the service catalog, remember, I have also added another service called Software Self-Service Portal Approval. So I'm just going to edit this. I'll show you how. I've created a service name of Software Self-Service Portal Approval. And again, the workflow, I have given certain ability to install the software along with the scripts. Going back to this view, I'm just using that software SSP approval. This is the service name. I'm going to map the service name in Desktop Central by going down to the same software deployment, self-service portal setting. I'm just providing the information here. So this is the ServiceDesk Plus service catalog template. So it's going to get associated with the ServiceDesk Plus catalog, and which is going to help us to integrate within the ServiceDesk Plus as a catalog. Now with the help of the approval, when I click on this approval, that's going to send this command to Desktop Central, and Desktop Central process this command by checking which user it is, and it approves, by which the installation will pass through from here. And we do have another option over here where you can choose whether you want to publish only the non-commercial applications or commercial applications to all computer groups. So how do an application get defined as a commercial and non-commercial? Again, we are providing it during the time when we are creating a package. So when I'm creating a package, I'm selecting an application, providing an application name, and choosing an application, how this has to be defined based upon its license type. So it's a commercial application which has been procured. I'm going to use it as a commercial. If it is a freeware or open source, I'm going to use as non-commercial. So based on this, it's going to get reflected when we are choosing this option. So likewise, I can just go ahead. I can use the, from Home tab, I can take action to install this application successfully. So by which this would get installed successfully onto the target user. Well, so if you have any questions on this case, please do raise it to the expert panel. I'll quick brush up about how this all happened using the workflow. So remember, we are just, a client computer is raising a request after we set up a self-service portal, selecting the MS Office and Skype for Business. It's a request and it cannot be installed, rather it shows as a request. So a user is requesting it. The request is processed through the Desktop Central to ServiceDesk Plus, which is an approval request. And from the ServiceDesk Plus, the technician who is liable for this request is approving based upon its investigation. And once it's approved, it's going to come towards the Desktop Central to locate that application and install it to the user accordingly. So from Desktop Central, it installs the application to that specific user and succeeds. And this information is going to be done in the background. So now let's move on to the next use case of maintaining up-to-date inventory information, all software, hardware details in ServiceDesk Plus. Fine. So as we discussed earlier, coming to Desktop Central ServiceDesk integration, we have an ability to perform a scan on the Desktop Central. As soon as you install an agent in Desktop Central, it's going to perform inventory scan and patch scan, and especially the inventory scan, it collects all the information about the software, hardware, and the warranty detail and posts this information to Desktop Central server, and that information is going to be posted in Desktop Central server where you can see the list of machines, what's holding the details. So we can click on the machine name to see all the information from here, including the warranty details. Fine. So the same information is going to be posted to ServiceDesk Plus in order to hold that information in its CMDB. And from here, we have various scanning options like schedule scan, where we can go ahead, schedule the scan based upon the given date and time. And moving on to the on-demand scan, we can choose which machine we want and we can select and we can perform a scan on a specific machine or a group of machine. And even we can choose a status to install right from the scan, I'm sorry. You can do with a machine which haven't performed a scan, yes, we can run a scan. Machines which have failed running a scan, yes, we can rescan again by selecting the specific machine. Scan which is in progress, it could be negligible because we will not be having any information, only if the machines which are running scan at that point of time could shown, and machines which are success. Like scan succeeded details, we can see the information as it is. Right. So these are the different scanning which we have to do the job, and this information is going to post it to ServiceDesk Plus. Apart from the scanning, we have another scan called intelligent scanning. Like any kind of hardware and software changes happen to a machine, Desktop Central agent has an intelligence to observe the changes, and based on the changes, it's going to update the information to Desktop Central as well as the ServiceDesk Plus. So you get a real-time scanning information onto the ServiceDesk Plus, because you know about ServiceDesk Plus also has a scanning. It also has an inventory. So then why do we want to have this integration in place? So the reason for having this integration in place is, as you know, ServiceDesk Plus also has the same conventional scanning of scheduling and on-demand, and Desktop Central also has the same scanning of the on-demand as well as schedule scan. So this information is going to provide you only up to the level of the update. So November 13, 2017, 10 a.m., it's performing a scan. So on the same day, I'm sorry, the next, so it is a weekly. So it has been run the scan of 6th, which means of Monday. So Monday it performed a scan, and this scan data, when it provides you the information, on Monday, whatever changes happen to this machine, you can see that real-time information. So what happens if a machine has been removed with some applications or hardware is added on the following days? You need to wait to get the up-to-date information till next Monday to get the real-time information, which is available in ServiceDesk Plus. Similarly, the same on-demand scan. You cannot go ahead, run a scan frequently in your ServiceDesk Plus to get the details. So for that reason, the integration comes into the picture, whereas Desktop Central has another intelligent scanning where it automatically runs a scan in the background based upon the changes happen to a machine in terms of hardware and software, and that information is going to be posted to Desktop Central and ServiceDesk Plus, and you can get those informations by going to the assets. And here it has been categorized with the workstations and servers. So you may choose the workstation to figure out all the machines, which is of laptop, desktop, and everything, and you can see all the machine informations from here, and you can just click on a machine to see its complete insight about its hardware components, the software details, the system informations, and all other ServiceDesk Plus relevant activities could be shown over here. So by which the integration of Desktop Central and ServiceDesk Plus helps to manage the asset, the real-time asset information onto ServiceDesk Plus, since ServiceDesk Plus holds the CMDB, so you're going to have all the time the real-time information over here. Right. So if you have any questions on this, do please raise it. Well, so we are done with the use cases. We are moving across to the real-time scenarios which we have come across in the day-to-day enterprise activities. So the first one, I want to notify all users about the upcoming fire drill. How can I achieve this? Fine. So this could be done from the ServiceDesk Plus. So we have an announcement feature. This announcement feature would help you to broadcast a message to all of the users for whom you'd like to use. So you can go ahead, choose this option. You can provide a title, selecting a fire drill, and specify the comments. Whatever comments you want, you can just provide the comments. You can use this option to show the prompt to the users from a specific window frame of the same day or even a different day. So it will be prompted to you frequently, and you can show this request using an email. You can send email to the end user, and having a copy, you can send this to the users. So this is going to be shown up here, but email is a conventional model and doesn't have any effect to show this message, because only if the user is opening their inbox, they could see this message residing over there. But apart from that, if you are using this display announcing using Desktop Central, so here Desktop Central is taking the control in order to publish this activities for the users. And this is going to happen from Desktop Central, whereas if you go to Desktop Central, you'd be able to see under the tools, announcements, we have this announcements option where this request is sent to Desktop Central, and you can see it has been created from the ServiceDesk Plus system user. So this would help the users to get this fire drill upfront on the screen in the right bottom corner. So this cannot be avoided. So no matter what application the user is using, still it will be prompted upfront on the screen, and you can just check about the view. Here we go. So this is going to help you to prompt any kind of message, not only for the fire drill, even if you want to convey any message to all of the users to alert them or to act accordingly, you can make use of it. Fine. So moving on to the next scenario, I want to get some clarification from the requester with regards to printer problem that he reported. What should I do? So a request has been raised from the user, whereas as an IT help desk, I couldn't figure out what exactly the user is reporting to me. I want to get more clarification from him in terms of this case. So I'm going to use ServiceDesk Plus by going down to the request. So any kind of a request which is raised, for example, the printer request which has been raised. So the information which the user has provided, I could not figure out what exactly the user is trying to convey. I need to get more details about this issue in order to process further. So I am going to use the chat. So this chat is going to help the user to contact. So it's going to list the user. I want to choose the appropriate user and chat with the user to get the complete details about what exactly happens in his machine and the exact problem what he's encountering due to the unable to print document. So by which I can address this case by interacting with them through the chat. Fine. So scenario 3, to understand the problem better, I would want the users to attach a screenshot or a video of the problem. How can I achieve this? Fine. So when coming into Desktop Central, we have the admin tab. So we have a ServiceDesk Plus settings, which allows you to log the help desk request and alerts as a ticket. So when you choose this option, come over here to help desk settings, enable this option of enable help desk settings and provide an option of attachment options, like you can allow the users to attach a PNG file or a JPEG or a BMP, and you can also allow the users to use the video recording. We can record a session if the issue which has been raised is not clear up to the mark. If it is something which comes up with a prompt where the user cannot describe about the issue, user can go ahead and use this option, and this could be done by creating from the agent tray icon. The user can right-click, create it from the agent tray icon, and that would allow them to use this option accordingly, where it will save the settings as video, and it is going to send this as an attachment to the end users. And that would be raised as a ticket from here, from where we can see the videos and we can take action against it. So I want to run a script to repair my AV application from all the network computers. Can I achieve this? Yes. So if we want to perform some sort of a scripts, we can use the scripts by going down to the Desktop Central. We have configurations. The configurations, we allow you to choose execute scripts. So this is possible from Desktop Central, by which we allow you to use the script by providing a predefined templates of 170 plus templates, and even you can also add your scripts in this place to execute. In the repository, you can add your scripts and you can execute it. So when you're creating a configuration from script, custom script, that would allow you to choose from your repository. Fine. So the same action I need to perform from ServiceDesk Plus. Well, we can do this from the ServiceDesk Plus. So if any of the request is raised, I need to just click on that request. For example, going down here, I can go to this option and I can run the script accordingly. Like for example, if I'm just using this Office and go to that, you can see I can run the script. So how this is feasible to list the run the script option over here. Again, taking you back to the admin of Service Catalog. So remember, when choosing the Service Catalog, we also have an option of creating the when installing an application or uninstalling an application, we have a workflow of selecting the script. So we have enabled this option of display the script. So this script you can see here. So we are allowing the script option in the actions menu. So by going down to the request of installing an application where you need to run the script, yes, it allows you to run the script from here. So this gives the same visibility of selecting the list of scripts which is in the repository. From the repository you can get the scripts and you can add your domain, choose the appropriate user, and we can install. And so moving again to the next scenario. Due to some business reasons, we are unable to host desktops in the server in our own network. Is there any alternate solution? Fine. So we are talking about the on-premise. So in some instances, and for the business need, we may not be able to perform an on-premise installation of Desktop Central. In such condition, how do we host Desktop Central to the cloud? So we have an option from AWS Marketplace and Windows Azure. So this would help you to go make an instance in Amazon Workspace or else with Microsoft Azure, and we can use Desktop Central even as a hosted solution. Fine. Coming towards the other integration opportunities. So as you know, like we have an option of integrating Desktop Central with ServiceDesk Plus. By going down to the admin, you can see with the ServiceDesk Plus, that's two different flavors of ServiceDesk Plus followed by the Asset Explorer. Along with that, we also have an option of integrating with ServiceNow. So this gives an opportunity to provide all the details and you can manage. Similarly, we also have options to get integrated with the Spiceworks, Zendesk, and Jira. Jira is under the cooking stage, so it's still under the work is in progress. And Spiceworks, Zendesk could be done. So using these help desk management applications, you can use the same software deployment and you can take remote of the target machine and you can address the user's technical issues. So finally, we're coming down to the questions. So we have a list of questions here which is commonly asked. So do I still need both the ServiceDesk Plus and Desktop Central agents after the integration? Not required. As I explained to you in detail, the need of the ServiceDesk and Desktop Central agent. So it all requires only for inventory details. So ServiceDesk Plus requires an agent in order to perform a scan to the target machine. And the same scan is done from Desktop Central to provide you the information. And even better than that, we also have a robust scanning feature of auto intelligence scanning, which helps you to understand the changes happen in the machine and updates you. So still, you don't need a ServiceDesk Plus agent. Desktop Central agent is more adequate to address your inventory management. Have license to manage 500 nodes in ServiceDesk Plus and have purchased license to manage 1,000 computers in Desktop Central. How does integration work in this scenario? So we are going to capture all the information about the inventory information about the 1,000 machines, and it's going to be posted to ServiceDesk Plus, and that is going to get mapped only to the 500 machines which is already available in the node. So in this situation, we recommend you to increase the nodes in ServiceDesk Plus in order to get the benefit of the complete inventory management. Do I need to generate separate API key for all SDP technicians? Not required. So in SDP, when you go down to the ServiceDesk Plus, you have a technicians here. So you could see the technicians. You'll be having a list of technicians provided. You can go choose the technician level. All you have to do is just provide an authentication to log in as a technician and allow him to choose in which privilege the user needs to be and select enable to access desktop and MDM functionality, plugin functionality. So you don't need to regenerate API key. API key is a one-time generation. However, you can add your desired technicians to have access to Desktop Central, by which they can get the iframe view to make use of the Desktop Central features inside the ServiceDesk Plus without jumping to Desktop Central. Can I integrate only the tools like remote control and chat instead of complete Desktop Central? Fine. See, you have options here, which I have explained you. You can integrate the complete things by using this option. So when the technician logs in, the technician can see all the feature set of Desktop Central, starting from software deployment, patch management, configuration tools, including the reports. How long will it take for the data to be posted from Desktop Central server to ServiceDesk Plus? So a good question. As soon as a scan is completed, whether it's going to be an on-demand scan or it's an automated scan, like any changes happen to the machine, Desktop Central automatically runs a scan, this information is going to be posted immediately to the ServiceDesk Plus from Desktop Central. So when a computer is added or removed in a domain, should make the changes manually, or how can this be handled by Desktop Central? So when a machine is added or removed in Desktop Central, we have a scope of management policy, and this policy is going to help you, which is under the scope of management. Under the scope of management policy, you have this option to provide the AD sync settings, provide your email address, choose the OU or domain, and specify a time, because this allows on this specific time to synchronize with your Active Directory. So Desktop Central synchronizes with Active Directory on everyday basis in order to facilitate these two features. The first feature is automatically it installs the agent and notifies you if a new machine comes inside to your Active Directory for the very first time. Similarly, if a machine is removed from your AD, automatically the same machine would be removed from Desktop Central, and this eventually helps you to relax the license. It removes that machine and relax the license, where the license could be used for your future purpose by adding any new machine which comes inside the domain. And similarly, you can also track the machine's activity, whether the machine is in contact or not. If it is not, it would be notified. If it is not in contact with X number of days, so you can start your investigation to find the reason why this machine is not in contact. And similarly, you can also remove a machine if the machine is no longer in contact for X number of days. So this would remove the machine completely from the managed list of Desktop Central, and obviously it will also help you to relax the license, where you can use the license for your future purpose. Will this integration help me to patch computers from ServiceDesk Plus? Certainly. You may go down to this Desktop Central and you can see the patch management. You can deploy the patches using installing a patch or a service pack, or you can also perform an automatic patch deployment task, and you can see the install patch and install service pack status under the view configuration. And you may also see all the patches, what are the patches available, which is applicable, missing install, what are the latest patches, and you can also quickly check the health status of your machines, how healthy the machines are, and you can also see the patch settings like scheduling the vulnerable update, or if you want to exclude some patch or configure the health policy to view the health systems. You can get all these done in the ServiceDesk Plus itself. Will this integration help me manage computers which are located in remote offices? Yes, of course. The machines which are integrated to ServiceDesk Plus, which provides all the inventory details, is all about whatever machine is managed in Desktop Central. So as you know, Desktop Central is capable to manage machines on LAN, WAN, and even through the out-of-office network using the internet, accessing via public IP or fully qualified domain name. The same amount of machines from different network types can be accessed in and managed in ServiceDesk Plus in terms of this integration. Well, so we have come to the end of this training. Trust the training will have been helped you to understand the complete insight of ServiceDesk Plus and Desktop Central integration and how it benefits you. And you may rate this presentation and its content to help us to refine the content to make it more understandable. You may rate us based upon the scale 1 to 5, where 5 is going to be the best. And I would request you to please make a hashtag to your social media and provide this I love Desktop Central with hashing, and also free training of ManageEngine. So this may help us to get more frequent users, those who can get benefit with the product usage. And about the next training schedule, which is going to happen on November 15th, next Wednesday, on these two different time zones covering different locations. And this is going to happen based on imaging and OS provisioning. So you're going to get more information about how to create an image and deploy it to the target machines using OS Deployer. So stay tuned on to this. And once again, thank you for all your active participation. You all have a great day. Thank you.